Hey, great day, good evening, everybody. Happy marvelous Monday. It's your girl Kat. Thank you so much for stopping in here with us on Chat with Kat and Friends. Excuse my voice. I am getting over a cold. I'm feeling so much better. Thank you so much for joining us on tonight. I truly appreciate you. And our guests do too. We have an awesome guest lined up for you on this evening. And I pray that you stay here, that you sit in, that you listen, that you congratulate them, that you send in your questions, all of those great things. Send them in. Send in your questions, you guys. And thank you so very much for hanging with us on tonight. Thank you. Subscribe to Chat with Kat and Friends, the YouTube channel. Like my new Facebook page, Chat with Kat and Friends. Thank you so very much. Look, I applaud you and appreciate all that you are doing. Thank you for your support, for your prayers. Thank you, each and every one of you. Look, got a happy birthday shout out today for my girl Breezy. Happy blessed birthday to you, Breezy. This is your special day and another year around the sun for you. I pray that God grants you every peace, every love, every joy that there is, He has in store for you. May you see it clearly, vividly. May you go after it, and may all of that be yours. God be praised for all that He's doing in each and every one of you guys' life on tonight. I'm so thankful to be here with you guys. Look, we have our guests are here and coming. So right now, I'm just going to tell you how I'm feeling on today. Look, no, you know what? You tell me, how are you feeling on today? I'm not sure what is going on. I'm not sure what is going on, but I am here and you are there. Look, hey, chime in. How are you doing on tonight? I want to know how you doing. I know how I'm feeling. I'm getting it together. It's coming together and it's coming along. It has been a road. It has been a road, and God is good. I thank Him for recovery. I thank Him for resilience and all of those great things. Thank Him for strength, life, health, joy, peace, and all of those great things that He so graciously bestows upon us, upon you, upon me. God is just great, just like that. Even when we're going through, our ills and all of the turmoils that we may go through, those triumphs as well. He helps us to go through those and celebrate in a triumphant, graceful manner. May we be humble. May we have humility. I'm praying for you guys on today. I pray that you pray for me and mine as well. I'm praying that you are safe and sound, that you are empowered. Look, and if you're not, just in case you are not, you came into the right place on tonight, because I guarantee you will be empowered and inspired by our doctors. Look, it's two doctors in the house tonight. By our doctors, sharings on this evening. I'm so excited for them to be with us on tonight. It has been some coordinating, okay? It has been some coordinating that has to be done back and forth. And you guys know, because last week, yep, I had the wonderful and awesome Harriet Gibbs. Harriet Inspires LLC was with us on last week. And we had to reschedule Dr. Constance Craig-Mason from last week to this week. So she is joining us here on tonight at the 6:30 hour, and I'm so happy to have her with us on tonight. Our first guest, Dr. Tanya R. Pierce, is with us on this evening, and she will be here with us in just a few moments. I am so ecstatically happy and proud of that. I connected with her in passing by. Hey, look, because see, you guys, I'm that type of person. I want to know you. I introduce myself and make myself known. I think at this particular event, we didn't do too much communicating, because there was a lot of vendors and things of that nature around. And you know how you go around to pop-ups and things like that. Big shout out to my girl Tiffany Barnes, Kingdom Connection, because it was a function. I believe it was her function that I met Dr. Tanya Pierce at. You know how you're at a pop-up function and event, and you kind of go around and you look at everybody's table and see what everybody has, and you might pick up a couple of cards, postcards, a couple of whatever it is that there might be there. You may make a few purchases from some of the vendors and things of that nature. And that's what this was. So I walked by Dr. Pierce's table, and she had these postcards, and I thought it was just so unique. And it said from EBT to EDD. I was like, wow, okay, this has got to be interesting. This has got to be interesting. And I know, I'm for sure, for certain, that many can relate to something of her story, because she had to have plenty of ups and plenty of downs as well, making it to getting her doctorate, right? And I praise God for all that He does in each and every one of our lives. So that's what Chat with Cat and Friends is about. It largely centers around empowering, as we empower and encourage one another to know that where they have been, our guests, myself, where they have been, where we have been, somebody else has, if you happen to be where we have been or where we are coming from, it's just to let you know that there is some place to go, that it's not over for you. It is not over for you, to give you encouragement to keep on pushing, because sometimes it gets really hard and what kind of unsettling in those places while we're progressing through and we're on our path to reach whatever goal it is that we're trying to reach. It can get a little muddled on the way. There can be pivots and detours and all of these different things that could take place and happen. But rest assured, may the testimonies and the encouragement that you hear here on Chat with Cat and Friends, and all of the plethora of interviews and conversations that I've had, check out the channel, you guys. Subscribe and look, take part in, and comment on the videos, the interviews, the different scenarios and situations that are happening. So there is some relativity there. And that's what this network, that's what this channel is all about, just coming together, being a great encouragement, to one another, being of great inspiration, because that's what we need. And that's what we're here for one another. That's what we're here for. It's a part of why we're here. It's a part of why we're here, not just to get along and be the highest paid and the most successful and all of those things. What are you doing? Are you pouring into one another? Are you pouring into your families? Are you pouring into your communities? So that's what we do right here, coming together, sharing our stories, sharing a piece of what we've been through, how we made it through, to encourage you that you can make it through as well, because your situation may not mirror the situations that you might hear, the different circumstances that you'll hear of, but they'll be relative in nature, possibly to the annoyance, right? The frustration, the level of what it takes to get to wherever it is that you're trying to go, whether you're going through schooling and education, or whether you're parenting, whether you're working in corporate and on the corporate level, on the corporate scene, or whether you're an entrepreneur. However that looks, there is some relativity to be had here, and that's a part of what this network and this channel is all about, to bring that all together in one common place, that we can inspire and empower one another to keep on going, to flourish and to grow in connection with one another, and knowing that somebody else did it and these other people did it, because it wasn't just one person. There's multiple people that have made it. They've gone through some treacherous things. Have you guys checked out the segment that I had, the Striving Thriving? Yes, it was during Thanksgiving, November 2021. You can check that out. And the whole month was just about paying homage to and saluting those who have been through some arduous times and moments in their lives. Of course, it's not everybody that I know of, but just a few specific ones that graced us with enough time to share with us the trials and the tribulations that they had gone through to just lift our spirits, right? Even while they were going through, still going through at those moments, but still being an inspiration and an empowering voice for the goodness and graciousness of God, still bringing you through, still strengthening you, still leveling your mind and bringing you to clarity of thought and the decision making process and all of those things. So check that out. Look, that was in November. I'll be popping up some previous show information here and there, especially on Facebook, my Facebook my Facebook page, Chat with Cat and Friends. I'll be popping up some reminders to check out some of those interviews so we can be reminded. Sometimes you have to be reminded of what it all means, that it's not for nothing and it's not too big. There's sometimes we go through situations and we feel like it's just massive and it's huge. And it is, not taking anything away from the magnitude of it and everything like that, but just trying to help with the going through it of it all, right? Because it can be tough, it can be hard, and it can be awful sad, right? It can bring you to a place of wanting to quit, of wanting to give in. And that's what all of these testimonials, the encouragement, and inspiration is all about, to help you keep on pushing, keep striving and thriving to be whatever it is that you're setting out to be, whatever God has placed in your heart and in your soul to purpose you toward. And if you haven't found that purpose just yet, keep working in whatever it is that brings your soul strength, that gives you what you need, right? And you're pouring into yourself, into your families, however that looks. And God has a way of working those things out till it does become clear, until it does like conform into a way that it's workable, that is usable, and you sometimes we can overlook things that may be kind of obvious to other people. Yeah, sometimes we overlook those things because it does come so naturally. We can take it for granted. So let us not take for granted the gifts that God has given us, the opportunities that He's given us, the doors that He's opened, that He's placed right before us. And many of them sometimes we don't have to work very hard for. Sometimes, now, if that is the case for you, look, praise God. And if it's not the case for you, praise Him anyway. Sometimes in some of those things, it just comes and it just flows and it's just there. It's the natural and all of those things. And sometimes it's not. But you know what? May you have everything that you need to just keep going, keep walking the way that God will have you to walk, keep doing the things that God will have you to do, because He's with you. He's with you. And His word says He would never leave or forsake us. And I believe it. I believe that is true. And look, every testimonial that has come through here, just about, I can't speak for everybody, but each and every person, nothing is ever absolute. But for the majority of those who came through, who have come through and graced us here on Chat with Cat and Friends, can look solidify and will attest to the fact that God is bringing them through. He's seen them through the ups, the downs, and He's still giving them strength, giving us strength, giving you strength. We're praying for one another. I thank God for you on tonight. And look, may you be duly enriched from today's show and tomorrow's and whatever other inspirational segments and gems that you get your hands on. May you just be a part of it, because getting there and being there is part of the process. Just being there, just showing up. Look, and I would say just showing up. If you just show up, He will do the rest. If you just show up without all the fanfare, without all of the, I don't know, because sometimes we feel like we got to have all of these tricks and tools and I don't know, all of these things, like you got to have this, that, these things. And sometimes when we don't have those things, we can find ourselves holding back, not going forward, feeling actually going backwards, feeling like we don't fit whatever the persona is, or whatever whatever that cutout definition is that we've made for ourselves sometimes, and that we've allowed other people to make for us as well. Put all of those things aside, show up, give him your first, and he will take the rest. Whether that is whether that is your mentality, your intellectuality, all of those things, your emotional self, all of those things, and he will do a mighty work in whatever it is that he has you going forth in. I am just trying to I'm just trying to buy time here. I'm just trying to buy time here. And I thank you so much for hanging out with me on this evening. So we may have to have another reschedule. I'm not sure. We may have to have another reschedule. Nope. Here we go. So we're going to go ahead and press on and press in with the interview. And God be praised. Thank you for hanging out with us on tonight. We have Dr. Tanya Pierce with us, and I'm going to go ahead and bring her in.
Hello.
Great evening, Queen.
Hello there. How are you, Queen?
I'm wonderful. I am so wonderful. I thank you so, so very much. We have spoken before just now, very briefly, but I thank you so, so much for your yes, Dr. Pierce. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for this platform. I see, one of the things that I see scrolling at the bottom is the words global impact. And I know that you are having just that, because there are people that are going to be reached through your ministry that, can't travel to us, but they can go to YouTube and see your page and be able to hear the
Amen.
testimonies and grow and glean from them. So thank you so much.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so very much. Hey, you guys. So, Dr. Pierce, we're gonna jump right into it because we're a little lagging, so we're gonna jump right into it. Can you just tell us? I did go over a little bit of how I got your postcard at the pop-up shop, but tell us who you are and what's this EBT to EDD. Look, tell us all about it. It's got to be intriguing.
Absolutely. So, my name is Tanya Pierce. I'm a wife. I am a mother of two adult children. I have a daughter who is 26 and a son who is 25. I'm an educator, so I currently serve my school district as an assistant principal. I just recently received a promotion, so I'll be working in another capacity soon. But
Awesome.
and I'm a child of the King. I think that
Yeah.
is the most important thing that I can share with you all. But my book, From EBT to EDD, talks about my journey of coming home from college my first year pregnant, and just moving through life and trying to navigate and figure out how am I going to take care of this child. And once I got into college, after my first child, after I returned to college, I didn't stop. I just kept going all the way through, from an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, master's, and certification, until I got my doctorate. And so my doctorate is in education,
Mhm.
educational leadership. And so
Um,
that's what my book is about. Now, there's a whole lot more in between. I talk about my experience,
right.
and give some real life stories about how we overcame challenges. And, I ended up marrying my children's father. And so, and we've been able to create and make a wonderful life. Both of my children have gone on to college and graduated. They're entrepreneurs and doing great things.
Wonderful. Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome. And the reason why it's so awesome, and I use the word awesome a lot. People probably like, why she say awesome? I use the word awesome a lot. But just to point out, because there are so many people who can relate to your story. So
Yeah.
I love the fact that you wrote this book and it's geared to, not not the fanciest side of going to school and making the grade and everything just turning out
Right. Not
just
at
like
all.
so.
There was a time when I didn't think I was going to make it. And so,
Mhm.
um,
Wow.
I went to high school and I hated it. I would go to high school, I would bring a blanket, I would fall asleep in class. I did just enough to get by. And then my 10th grade year, I said, it has to be better than this. And I decided to combine my junior, senior year together. And so I really
Wow.
only did 3 years of high school. And after that, I was, I just had a different thought process, a different
Yeah.
mindset about what education could do for me. And then, of course, leaving college your first year and coming home and having to make that phone call to your parents and saying, I'm having a baby. That wasn't what they expected, right?
Right.
They
Right.
expected me to
Right.
bring a degree home 4 years later, and instead I brought a grandchild home, right? So that was an interesting time. My mother has been my biggest support. She
Oh,
has been my
wow.
champion all throughout each milestone I've gained, my husband, my children. And so we all just really work together and look at each other. We ask each other what your dreams, what your goals are. And as a family, we take on that initiative to help support each other and to hold each other accountable.
Wow. You know what? And that's so great because it shows the continuity of just success. It shows your children, and it's something that they're going to teach their children too. But I wanted to go back to when you had to make your phone call.
Uh,
This show is about making impact. So we want everybody who might be in this situation. It could be your child who may be in this, or it could be you. It could be
mhm.
you in the situation. Now, when you made that phone call, can you tell me what was going through your mind at the time? Like, oh my gosh, what? Tell
Yeah.
us. Look, and don't give. I know you probably went specifically in your book. Don't give us too
Oh,
much. You
no.
guys have to get this book. You got to
Yeah,
get this book. But
yeah.
tell us how did that feel and everything. How was that for you?
So I think it took me about 3 days to make that phone call. I was very nervous. This wasn't a time during cell phones, or at least I didn't have a cell phone. That was back in
Mhm,
1992. And I remember going to the payphone, and my husband and I, my boyfriend then, we both went together. And when we finally decided to make the call, he said, well, who are we calling first?
mhm,
Your mom or my parents? And I said, well,
mhm,
let's get the hardest one out of the way, right? Because as
mhm.
women, it's taken different when, you
Right.
become pregnant.
Mhm.
Men, they have children. It's not always, I don't want to say it's not taken as a big deal, but
It's just not the same.
it's not the
Mhm,
same. And so I said, well, let's just call my mom and get it over with. And I could hear the disappointment even in the words that she did not say. And
mm,
so I felt that. I felt that. And one of the things I talk about it, I believe in my book, my mother was a supervisor at a poultry plant. And a couple of weeks before I started college, I watched her take her whole paycheck to send me to college.
oh,
And
wow.
I knew that she was disappointed in that decision. I knew that she had worked really, really hard so that I could go to college. And I didn't come home with a degree. I did not come home with a degree.
Right.
But I will say this, my mother absolutely loves her granddaughter. It didn't
Mhm,
take her too long to get over. I didn't even go home when, they tell you have to clean out your dorm by a certain day. I was afraid to call her and say, hey, I have to be out of the dorm by this time. So I packed my stuff up and went somewhere else because I thought she was upset with me. And so when I finally called her and said, can I come home? She said, I never told you you couldn't come home. And
mhm.
that was a good turning point for us in our relationship. And she taught me how to be a woman, right? I was still,
Mhm.
I had just turned 18. I started college when I was 17. And so she just taught me how to be a woman.
Wow, you know what? That is so wonderful. It's so wonderful. And every story is gonna have its own, everybody's gonna have their own journey and everything with
Mhm.
that. Thank you so much for sharing yours because I'm praying. Look, and I know you've prayed this as well, but we're praying that somebody is encouraged to
Yes,
know that you can still go on, that
absolutely.
even when things don't turn out as you have planned, you can still go on. Even when you have those hard conversations. Look, hats off, pat on the back, sparkles, confetti, and all that to your wonderful mom, for just being there. And just, you know what? Mother's Day is coming up. You gotta say, Mother's Day is coming up. A big shout out to all
Mhm.
women, all mothers out there mothering their children, teaching them how to be women, teaching them, about life and encouraging and being a great inspiration. And that's what she is. That's what she was then. And that's what she is now to you. So, man, and that's how you are with your children. So, you guys, you see that continuity of life and respect and the importance of things. You teach without even saying. It's so much in what you do and how you do the things that you do.
Thank you.
So
Thank you so
so
much.
tell us if you can tell us really quickly, like, how was it writing your book? What was that process like for you?
It was therapeutic for me. I talk about some childhood trauma that I experienced in the book, and this is the first time that I have revealed some of these things. And so I contemplated whether or not I was going to reveal these things in a book, but I chose to do that. I have I'm not one to say that, I went to therapy or anything. I use writing as my therapy.
Mhm.
I allowed really what I would say God to heal me from that place. And I couldn't write before it was my time. And so when I wrote, it was time for me to release that information because I know there are some other people who need to know. Okay. I felt like my voice was silenced through molestation, and
Mhm.
I talk about that in the book, and how I was groomed and just that whole process. And I believe that really uh, shaped me into who I am, and not necessarily
Wonderful.
in a negative way.
Hmm.
With my own children, I was very cautious, but that's, of course, something that you need to heal from, right? And so
Exactly.
that writing was very therapeutic for me.
Wow, look, and we had last week we had the wonderful Harriet Gibbs on Harriet Inspires LLC, and
Mhm,
she's the pusher and the triumphant one
mhm,
to push you to write and to, for those giftings to come out in writing.
right.
And I know that she would be so happy to hear about that, as she has with others. But that's so wonderful, and I've heard many people, many writers, many authors have can attribute the therapeutic wellness of
Yes.
writing to that whole thing and helping to heal and helping to find closure, some semblance of closure, because sometimes there isn't, but at least some semblance of closure and things of that nature. So congratulations to
Thank
you on finishing this project. Are there
you.
any more books on the way or down the road? How does that look?
Yes, yes. I'm actually doing an enhanced version of my From EBT to EDD. I mentor a lot of young ladies, and so they are looking for an addendum to it that helps them with goal setting. So I'm adding some more
Yeah.
information to the book. I'm working on a project with one of my nieces. She's a younger younger lady, young adult rather, and she and I are working on a project. I've been planning out a children's book that really reflects my life and my brothers. I have two older brothers. And I have a conference coming up in October. It's called Power and Purpose Activation Brunch. And so
Wow.
I am working on that as well. And,
Mm.
just be on the lookout on my Instagram and Facebook and my webpage. And I'll be promoting that soon.
Awesome. I think I did. I do have that here. So, can you tell us really quickly before you go? Thank you so much for being so open, for being so authentic and sharing your story. I mean, you wrote it in the book, but you're right here with us sharing little excerpts, and I truly, truly, truly appreciate it. I pray that you guys you were grabbing hold of those nuggets that she was dropping, just the inspiration that she's giving and sharing with us concerning her story, and just the how you're going about raising your family, and you're all, it just sounds so wonderful. And it's not far fetched. Sometimes we can hear people talk about their story and where they've come from to where they are now. And it seems like it's just so perfect and all of these things. But I kid you not, I kid you not, there are all of these things that we go through. And just praise be to God for the strength and resilience that helps us keep it
Yes,
all
yes,
together, right?
yes.
Because in your balancing a family, how did you do that? Because okay, you had your daughter and you still went back to college,
I did.
and of course you had family support, but like how was that for you going back to school and your family and all of those things?
Yeah, I would not have been able to do it without the support of my mom and my husband. There were days that my mom, she would keep track of my schedule. And if she knew I had class, she would say, I cooked dinner for you all. She had a key to my house. Some days she would come over and just cook. And when I would get home, food was done, laundry was
Wow.
folded.
Yeah.
And that those little things were big things, right?
Hmm.
Because there were things that I didn't have to do. Um, and just being helpful,
Yeah.
and knowing that you have a tribe. Like I have, we all have our own tribe, our support system, our girlfriends, people that we work with, classmates, making sure that you plan out your week. Every Sunday, I have a habit of just sitting down, planning out what I need to do for the week, what my goals are, long term, short term. And I've done that for a while and it's worked for me.
Good. Wow, that's awesome. It's awesome, and it just speaks to the vitality of you and the strength of you and your family and all that you're expected to do and all that you have in the goal to do. So God be praised for that. Look, before you leave us, can you share with us how can we get your book?
Absolutely. Yep. So I've written 3 books.
Uh-huh.
My first book is Elevate Your Faith. It's a 31-day journal, a devotional. My second book is Keeping Your Spark Alive. That is a burnout prevention book for educators, but really it's for anyone because we all can experience burnout. And
Right.
the third book, From EBT to EDD, all can be purchased on my website. I have several things there. I have t-shirts that I sell there. I have courses that I sell there. And it's my name,
Mhm.
www.drtanyarpierce.com. So same spelling as my name. And there, I want to say there's also a link from my Instagram page as well. And so my Instagram
I
page,
believe so.
Dr. Tanya _R_Pierce.
Mhm. Awesome. Well, you guys, that is Dr. Pierce's information. You got to get this book. Look, and it's available on her website.
Yes.
Dr. Tonya R. Pierce.
Yeah.
Yes, it's available on her website. So get over there to the website, grab up this book, and your other authored books as well are available. I'm just truly just ecstatic to have you on with us on tonight, and I thank you once again. And I keep on saying thank you because it's truly an honor, and I'm blessed. We're all blessed
Yeah.
just to sit and listen to you on tonight. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for taking the time to be with us on this evening.
Thank you
There
for having
want
me.
Thank you. There weren't any questions on tonight. So we're going to go ahead and go, and I will catch up to you at another time. You guys, I will have the information, Dr. Pierce's information in the description section. Also, the conference that she has coming up, any kind of ticket type information, or just the link so that you can go and find out that information on your very own. Okay, that's straight.
Yep, yep. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
You too. Good night.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Dr. Tanya Pierce, I'm so excited. It took us a minute to coordinate schedule. So this is wonderful. I'm so glad she was able to carve out a little bit of her time on tonight to spend with us. And our next guest is here and it's waiting for me. It's waiting for me. So let me bring Dr. Constance on. Great evening, Queen.
Let me mute myself. There it is. Can you hear me?
Yes, I sure can. Hi.
Hi. I'm well.
How are you? Oh, good, good, good. I am so glad to see you. Look, especially since last week we tried. Oh my gosh, did we try?
We did.
Oh my gosh, did we try? I mean, you know what? I'm so excited. Look, to have you both on tonight on the same night, it just lined up that way. It just lined up that way. And that's just how God does great and amazing things. Thank you so much, Dr. Constance Craig-Mason, for being with us. And look, does everybody say your whole name? Like when your name, is it like your whole?
No. Nope. Dr. Constance is just fine.
Okay. Dr. Constance, thank you so much for joining us on tonight. Look, and happy birthday. Your birthday was what, two? Look, it's still going on. We're not even, it's
Yesterday.
still going on.
It was
It's still in
yesterday.
right, still in celebration mode. Happy birthday to you, by the by, and for the rest of the year. Thank you so much. Look, and look, I did see your you guys, have you ever followed anybody on Facebook or on their social medias, and you're like, that's how I know Dr. Constance Craig-Mason is from her social media. And every now and then I would see these, and we have a few people in common that we're friends with. So I was like, you know what? Let me see. And I've checked out your you have a Facebook group as well. I'm
Mhm.
just intrigued. I'm just intrigued to just be in connection with you because you've been through so many things.
Mhm. Mhm.
You've been through so many things and you've aspired and like just accomplished so much in your short lifetime. So
Mhm.
God be praised for all that he's given to you. So for those who don't know you, please tell us exactly who you are and what it is you do, Dr. Constance.
Well, hello, and I finally made it on the show. Listen, we tried so hard last week, but I'm here now. So
Yeah.
I am, firstly, a woman of God. I always like to give honor to Him. I am a wife, a mom, a grandmother as well, and professionally and by passion, I help people to live the life they want without
Yeah.
worrying about money. That is my
Mhm.
core philosophy. I work very hard at making sure that people understand money. So financial literacy is very important. It's in everything that I do and every talk just about that I get on stage and present. And I love quickly how I had so much synergy with your other guest that was just on the show. And I love listening to her share her authentic story. So we have some similarities in womanhood, I should say. And
Yeah.
I'm just a champion for people who want to make improvements in their life, because I
Yeah.
firmly believe that even if I am not the source or the resource for their problem, that I more than likely know someone who might have that solution, because I'm an avid networker, especially with women's empowerment and financial literacy, mental health and wellness. Like, those are really important to me overall. And so I always like to listen first to see
Yeah.
how I might be able to serve someone, and not just come into a space with my own motives or, things like that. I just come in looking to be love and light, and wherever God leads is where I go.
Wow. I mean, who couldn't love her? Who could not love you? I mean, I am like, wow. Look, I'm like girl crushing, I guess. Am I girl crushing?
Oh,
I don't know.
thank you.
It's just so wonderful. It's just so wonderful. Now you had I want to say, was it a few years ago? A few years ago, you had some medical issues.
I did.
Can you let us know, in brevity about those and just your testimony of making it through and coming out? Because look at you now. You wouldn't even know. Tell us a little bit about that.
Thank you, Kat. I feel like I might be the poster child for resilience, and I don't look like what I've been through. Okay. And I use my social media pages to kind of just share what's going on with me. And really quickly, I've been in the insurance field for longer than the investment advisory field. And so oftentimes with the insurance, if we did any kind of public presentation, workshop or seminar or something like that, we would not be scripted, but there would be just kind of like a protocol for things that we could teach, things that we could say.
Right.
All of our brochures and content had to be pre-approved that, we could give out to the audience. And ironically, when I was doing that, I love teaching. So I love teaching financial concepts. And I never thought it to be important to share who I was or the journey I was on in the process of that. I was just always just giving out content, sharing information, scheduling appointments, that kind of thing. And it was only until, like you said, a few years ago that I started, getting into more women's empowerment spaces. I started taking like professional speaking classes because I wanted to get better and better at getting in front of someone and getting them what they needed. And of course, as women do, we love to talk and we love to share our stories and our journeys. And I learned that it was really, really more important for people to learn who you are, because you are the face of whatever it is that they're going to be engaging with, whether it's a product or a service or whatever. But in the days of authenticity, people want to know who you are. And oftentimes, instead of small talking in a space, where it doesn't come off as an authentic conversation, if you authentically want to be in the space, one, and two, enjoy talking to people, you're going to engage in a way that doesn't come off as salesy. And what I found was just by sharing the story of me being a mom or me being a wife or, like you said, some medical challenges that I have had, people relate very well to that. It does not take away any credentialing that you have. It doesn't take away any licensing, anything like that, to just share who you are as a person. And so over the last 3 years, I've had quite a bit of medical challenges, mostly respiratory in nature. And before COVID actually hit us, I was already in the house dealing with a bunch of respiratory issues. And I often post on my page that, if I get hit, medically, financially, in business, you put money out and you don't always get it back, that kind of thing, I literally get back up. I don't care what happens. I'm going to get back up with the grace of God. And I feel like when I started sharing that side of me and not just, where am I going to speak at and what am I up to, but really just being a real person, people relate so much better to that. And yes, of course, when we do get the opportunity to do a one-on-one or, be in the same space together at the same time, people do feel like they know you. They feel like they've known you for years because, I haven't held back who I am as a person. And therefore, they're more than likely going to want to work with you professionally because they also see that side of you too.
Absolutely. Wow. I mean, it's just been it's such a awesome testimony and inspiration to have seen your pictures. You've been very open about your medical challenges and what you faced and all of that. And you kind of like just briefly went through it in one of your last posts or whatever. You guys, I promise you, I'm not a stalker. I promise you, I'm not a stalker. But in doing media and when you're talking to people, you do want to know who they are, So I have to do my homework. I
Mm-hmm.
did my homework. So I had to do my homework. Now, recently, also, you were highlighted in the Baltimore Sun. Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
And what was that award for? Can you share with us about that, please?
Yeah, so the Baltimore Times did a write-up over the last couple of days about this position that I received at the what we call the IARFC, or International Association for Registered Financial Consultants. And this is actually the first position that they've opened up that happens to be the managing regional director, which means that this is an association for financial professionals, right? So, similar to other associations that doctors, nurses, plumbers, whoever, there's associations for all professions. So this is one for financial professionals, but the designations that we get to receive is based on our previous work. So it's like, hey, you've been in the field for X amount of years. You're already serving your clients well. We want to be able to give you what they call letters behind your name. Like I say A, B, C, D's, and E's behind your name, just to show something to say, hey, I'm ethical. I do my continuing education. I'm passionate about what I do and how I serve my clients. And here's some letters to show the years of experience that I've committed to my work. And so me being the managing regional director over the US chapter is a big deal because they haven't had one before. And of course, I'm a minority. So, they did a story in the Baltimore Times, because that's my hometown of Baltimore, about how I literally grew up in poverty and experienced a lot of childhood traumas, to get to a place where I'm able to help other people with their money, which would be unheard of statistically. But it was a lot of personal and professional development that I chose, right? I chose the route of improving my life, not just for me, but for my kids and for my children's children, which, if you're a believer, you know that you've got to do well so that your children's children can seek on that legacy that you have left. And so I'm very intentional about who I serve, how I serve, and how I show up in a space, because I feel like everything that I'm doing is leaving like the breadcrumbs for people that I may never even meet in my family. And so I'm very intentional about that. They wrote a story as kind of like a hometown Baltimore native and where is she now kind of story. And it was just so awesome because it was my birthday weekend when it came out.
Right, absolutely. That is so wonderful. That the light was shined on you, or shown, whatever, that it was shown on you like that. Being a Baltimore native, I am a Baltimore native as well. Can you tell us, what did it take? Like, how was it going through from from transitioning from one area of finance to the next? How was that for you? What did that look like in like the growth of you? How did that help?
Yeah. Well, I started out as an insurance agent, in this field, January 2009. And what I found was I was asking clients or potential clients way more in-depth questions than just, what's your age, height, and weight,
Right.
and, how much premium can you afford per month? I was asking them about their lives. I was asking them about what they want. What kind of legacy did they want to leave? What kind of goals did they have? And oftentimes they would say things like, oh, I want to buy my first home, or I want to start a business. And some of these things I was young and doing at the same time. And I was learning about it in my coursework as well, and my licensing programs. And so even though we may have written a policy to protect the family or the family's income or something like that, I was also interested in what they would get in the here and now, not just when they would pass away. And so I always thrived in this space of helping people and being resourceful. So all of those things I was not able to get compensated for, right? Because if I wasn't doing a policy, then I wasn't getting compensated. But I'm having really in-depth conversations, giving them referrals to people and places and things. And so I started doing financial coaching in addition to insurance. And that kind of really helped me too, because it's like now I can get paid for the time that I'm spending with these families and with these business owners.
Right.
And we're both winning in that regard, right? I'm not just serving and not being able to see the benefit in my business. And fast forward to probably last year, even though I was stricken with some health challenges, I finally buckled down and started doing more coursework around the investment advisory work and, financial planning. And so I was able to take all my vitamins and minerals because I had brain fog like crazy, coming from COVID. And I really was not able to retain the information that I was reading, which was very weird for me because I'm a lifetime learner. I love to read everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to my husband, I was like, I would read a chapter and then get to the quiz and not be able to pass the quiz. And I was like, this is not me. And so I started doing research on what could I take for brain health, vitamins, minerals, and everything. Went to the pharmacy, got all that stuff, a whole bag full of stuff. And I started taking it because I was like, I refuse to fail because these exams are pretty challenging. And I was like, I refuse to fail. So I've got to hone in on my health and wellness. And so I was able to do that. And I passed the exam for the advisory work. And that was last summer. And so I had a decision to make at that point. I had to decide if I was going to take that license and I was going to go work for a firm, or if I was going to take that license and start something from scratch, which nobody wants to be the first, because it's hard. You don't have a road in front of you that's just like step 1 through 5 and you're good. And so I did do a training program, with a well-established firm for a few months, and I learned, the ropes of advising. And then I was like, listen, I've got legacy to create and I have no problem working for someone else. But if I've started businesses before and I've been able to figure them out and I've been able to help other people with their businesses as well, I'm going to take this leap. And so I, as of last week, filed my paperwork to register my investment advisory firm. Of course, it takes several weeks of processing from, the regulations perspective. But as soon as I get that yes, woohoo, be able to do investment advisory, full comprehensive, financial plans and things like that on an affordable basis, right? I know sometimes when you try to seek out financial help, it can be expensive depending on who you go to and who you find. But that was another thing that was important, to make access to this kind of information affordable. So that's what I want to do in the next coming weeks.
Wow, that is wonderful. That is wonderful. So, you know what, you guys? So, I just want to dive into some of what you were saying. And I'm hoping that everybody was able to grab hold of those nuggets as far as just your you weren't giving up. You were not giving up. It wasn't an option. So may we all be this resilient. May we all exercise that faith to just keep on going. And even when it feels like, or there are things going on, like you were saying, you had brain fog really bad and holding on to information became a challenge. So what do I do? How do, may we be proactive and fixing our situations, or trying to in some way and not shy away from it. We can sometimes become squeamish and, really like, oh, well, I guess now isn't the time, and you can hide behind those things. So may that be an inspiration and testimony, and everything else that you share according to how you've progressed along the way, and you just forged through. It's like, I gotta do this. And speaking to me as well, you guys, you should always know that I'm always talking about me as well. Just being inspired by everyone who have the privilege of sitting with, chatting with, just picking a little bit of, well, what's going on with you? Well, how did you do that? That is what, that's what Chat with Kat and Friends is all about. It's like just trying to figure out, and be relative and connect on those different levels, that we're all different. We're all different. We can't be the same. Life will be boring. So, but finding that relativity and that connection, because we can all inspire one another. We can all empower and lift one another up. Sure, we can do the other stuff too, but I think it's enough of that.
Mhm.
There's enough of that out there. But thank you so much for sharing your journey thus far. And look, we are congratulating you. I am congratulating you and patting you on your back, giving you sister love hugs for everything that's happening and that's going to for the yeses that you will get from your application being put in and you're just waiting. Those things will come to pass. I praise God for that. Those things will come to pass, and in a big way too. Look, you've shared a global platform because you've been abroad and you've spoken. Can you tell us a little bit what that was like? Where you were first? Can you tell us where you were,
Mhm.
and what that was like for you?
Well, my first, I would say, international opportunity to
Mm-hmm,
speak was, I want to say it was 2018. Lori Pelzer was the conference host for a women's conference, and she does these things all the time. And we were doing a women's empowerment session. And of course, I was talking about finance and went to Toronto, Canada, and for a couple of days. And I took my husband with me, of course. I try to take him every chance I get. Take him on the journey with me. And it was a phenomenal experience. I got up and of course, it was Toronto, Canada, but the women, they spoke English, with us. And ironically, we were on like kind of a break. And as I was mingling and talking to some of the attendees, like out in the hallway and taking pictures
mm-hmm,
and things like that, a young lady walked up to me that I was talking to, and we both were in insurance at the time. We both were financial insurance agents.
mm-hmm,
And she just was attending the event and she lived in Toronto. And so we ended up exchanging numbers and being like, yeah, maybe we can help each other or host something together. And here it is. That was in 2018. I ended up reconnecting with her on social media. And it was in 2020. And I had her and her husband, because she was not married at the time when I met her in Toronto. But fast forward a few years, and it just goes to show how people evolve in their life, especially if you keep up with them. Ended up having her and her husband be co-authors in a book project that my husband and I were doing. And they are like amazing MCs on these conferences.
wow.
And so we ended up
Mm-hmm.
having them to co-host our conference. And we just continue to use her and her husband. And now I told them they stuck with me. They're like family. But it's just the point that when you go and do these speaking opportunities, whether they're in the States or international, you
Mm-hmm.
can use those opportunities to build your network
Mm-hmm.
authentically and be able to build wealth together. Like we have had them over the last couple of years and multiple things that we're doing. And it just started with her and I having a conversation on a break in Toronto, Canada, a few years ago. I also work with Dr. Cheryl Wood. She's a mentor of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And right when the pandemic hit, sometime between March and May of 2020, Dr. Cheryl she sent out an email to one of her contacts in South Africa. And she had done some talks with the college kids there. And she just wanted to check on them because this was during the time where all the schools were shutting down and people didn't know
Right.
what was going on or what that was going to look like. And she had sent an email to the university in South Africa and asked, how are the kids doing? Like, do they need anything? And the school was so excited to hear from her. They said, hey, yes, they're not doing so well mentally. Like, can you come on and do like a virtual talk with the kids? And she was like, of
Wow.
course, yeah, sure, whatever you
Mhm.
need. And then the lady said, well, if you have someone you want to bring along, on the virtual conference or talk, you can bring them along. So here, Dr. Sherwood, with her generous self, she let all of her high level students, because we were in a speaker certification program. So she
Mhm.
let about 5 or 6 of us do that South Africa talk to empower
Wow.
college kids. And we
Mhm.
were super excited because, again, she leveraged her relationships with these international opportunities to bring us along as speakers. And we were able to pour into those kids. So I've, had Toronto, Canada, South Africa, recently Nigeria. I did a talk about a week ago. So I use social media as a way to connect with people globally. And if we have a match of synergy or energy, then I'm
Wow.
into that. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's awesome. And it speaks to what I always talk about. And you guys know, just connections, having those connections and just being there, making yourself available for opportunity
Right.
when those doors do open.
Mhm.
Because you're working so hard at whatever it is that whatever your craft is, whatever your gift is, you're putting all of the time in and all of the work and effort and all of those things. So just show up. Before I began the interview with Dr. Pierce, that's what I was saying. Just show up. God will do the rest. Just show up, because sometimes we can get lost and kind of, the word isn't lackadaisical, because lackadaisical looks at, you're not taking it seriously or what have you, but we can get where we want to shun things. We want to, where
Mhm.
that's where you're going. That's what you said you wanted, so
Yeah.
wow, just big shout out to you on all of that and the connections that are being made. You guys hear that, right? I talk about that all the time. Connections are so important, and not just for what you can get out of it, but just because it's healthy relationships, it's bridging some gaps that you might have in your life. Can you share with us? You're shaking your head. Can you share with us, like, what are your thoughts on connections, connectivity, and then that tribe? Dr. Pierce talked about having a tribe and just having people that support system is just so very important.
Absolutely. I am a firm believer in relationship building. Prior to COVID, I was in person networking. And so I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland, moved to York, Pennsylvania about 10 years ago, which is about 50 minutes away. And I was taking that almost 1 hour commute multiple times a week back to my hometown to do women's conferences, church events, business networking opportunities. And I was constantly just on the go. And in this virtual space, it's a lot easier for me to just hop in and out of Zoom rooms and all kind of
Right,
things. But the energy is the same, right? The idea that you can show up to a space willing to bring love and light and see what organically will happen from there. Dr. George Fraser, I don't know if you guys know him, but awesome CEO of the Power Networking Conference and Fraser
mhm,
Net. And he's an older gentleman and he still is working. I think he's in his 70s and
mhm,
always dropping nuggets every time that man opens his mouth. But one of the things that I love that he said was, he was like, show up and look to give first. And every time you look to give first without ulterior motives or other things in mind, you might not get back from that particular person what it is that you might have needed, but you're going to get back a blessing regardless, right? And so that
right,
was a good nugget that I took from him. Another nugget that I took from him, since I'm in the financial space, is he says, wealth is the side effect of financial literacy. So that's why I say, regardless of wherever I'm at, whatever talk I'm doing, I'm going to infuse some kind of literacy in there, because I know, growing up in the inner city of Baltimore and growing up in poverty, there was so much that I did not know, just basic financial concepts that I did not know. I didn't see modeled before me, my sister and I. And no shade to my mom, my grandma, my family, or anything like that, but you can't teach what you don't know. And so
right,
we had to make a decision that the buck stopped with us. And so whenever I'm in a space, I'm looking to give and serve first, because I know where my blessings come from, right? And so I'm not looking for, oh, I'm going to give this and so I can get that. That's, for me anyway, right? And
right,
Dr. George Fraser also, he's been around in the entrepreneurship space for a long time, so I think he might know what he's talking about. But to just know that networking is the way to be able to grow your business, because again, when they say two heads are better than one, right? And you put yourself together with another person, you can tap into each other's markets, right? You never know who's in that space that never knew you existed, and now that they do, they want to work with you. Or like in the aspect of Dr. Cheryl, just because I was connected to her through a training program, she brought me along to another international speaking opportunity. So, networking, building relationships authentically. And I think that you should also be aware that there are some people who don't think or feel like that in these spaces. And so you
right,
definitely do need to be aware that
mhm,
you can't do that with everybody. and some people don't have the best intentions. But I think that as adults, and we've been around the block a few times, as they say, you'll be able to pick out those people who might not serve you well, or you might not want in your inner circle. And that's okay too, to be able to choose who you leverage your relationships and your opportunities with. So definitely look to be a giver, and it will always, always work out for you.
Wow, you guys, did you get all that? Did you get all that? I pray that you did. I sure did. I am doubly blessed on today. And not just, and that's just like from every show. I'm telling you, I'm like, I feel a little, because I'm like, am I doing this for me? Is this a selfish thing? I don't know. Because I'm just as blessed as everybody else. I get texts and emails and just the comments about, how it's just such a blessing. I am blessed. I'm just so thankful for the inspiration that I get and the encouragement that I get from the guests, from those who are participating and engaging, and the comments and everything like that. So look, without further ado, can you just leave us any kind of contact information that you would like to leave us, so that if anyone would like to get in touch with you, I guess for financial literacy means, or any other means that they can do that, let us know your socials, please.
Yeah, I try to make it easy. I try to be consistent. So all of my social media handles is my name, at @CraigMason, at @CCraig. That's CCRAIGMASON, at @CraigMason. You'll find me, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of those places. My website is Concierge FG, Frank Girl, conciergefg.com, and you can find my books there. You can find ways to schedule an appointment, a free consultation there. Even if you have insurance questions, you can do an insurance review. Doesn't cost anything. I have also a listing of other financial professionals that I work with. So bankers, loan officers, attorneys, business consultants, all of these people, you can find on my website, conciergefg.com.
Wow, that's awesome, you guys. It's a one-stop shop. You can just go there and find out all the information that you need to know. And it's just awesome, because sometimes, just like you said, if I'm not the person, if I don't have, then I'm definitely going to funnel you to somebody else. I have other directions and resources or information that I can surely give to you. And that's a wonderful thing. It's wonderful to be a giver, and wonderful, to just share the information, share that wealth. That's a part of wealth. Information, sharing of space, sharing of connection. Thank you so much, Dr. Constance, for being with us on tonight. I really do appreciate your time. I appreciate your just your authenticity. This has just been an amazing night. I'm just so thankful for the both of you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Kat, for having me. It's been my pleasure also.
You are welcome. I will check in with you later.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Well, you guys, that is it for us on tonight. Thank you so very much for hanging with us. Post up, share this interview, share this segment of Chat with Kat and Friends. If you would, please comment. Let me know what you think. If you are an entrepreneur, or you know of someone who, you don't even have to be a business owner, just someone who, you're doing the thing, you want to shout somebody out, let me know. Send me an email at trinaw@awesomegodradio.com. I love to post you up. Like my Facebook channel, Chat with Kat and Friends. Like my channel, you guys. Thank you so very much. Share it with everybody. Go down your contact list. Send it out. No, not exactly. But if you would, I wouldn't be mad. If you did, I wouldn't be mad. But that's it for us on tonight. I will see you guys later on this week. Touch that notification bell so that every time great content, information, whether it's wellness, whether it's on the professional side, yep, just like this with Chat with Kat and Friends, anytime any of that information is added to Chat with Cat and Friends YouTube channel, you will know about it. So touch that notification bell. There are videos that I upload. I just uploaded one or two. Got one or two. There are some shorts out there too. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think. And I look forward to seeing you again. I have two new guests for us next Monday. Hang in there. I'm praying your strength in the Lord. We got Mother's Day coming up. Happy blessed Mother's Day to all of the mothers, just in case I don't get to pop in on you guys later on. I'm going to lay down, take some medicine. All is well. I'm praying that you stay strong and you stay in your faith. Stay in the word, you guys. And I'll talk to you later. Have a great evening. Thank you so much. Bye bye.